Okay, so this is part four. Hello again. So far, we've introduced ideology, sort of talked about the five areas of the rubric that the exam will be looking at, outlined the three films that we're going to be considering, um, defined ideology, and then seen how three trailers from different exhibiting and viewing contexts change the representational ideologies of a film. I've also set you some writing, so specifically after the second one, you should have done these three. These one, two, three, I can't count. 5 questions about these three trailers, and after we discuss that, go away. After we discuss that, or I discussed it more accurately, you should have done these three questions as well. So it's all about kind of building up your knowledge and understanding of ideology. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of a callback to this, which sort of weirded a few of you out. But anyway, and the reason I'm showing you this is because you might remember when we looked at documentaries, we looked at the sequence from the Wim Wenders documentary Tokyo Ga, and it's basically people making wax models of food. Some of you might have missed it, you might not have been in the lesson. I'm going to show you this again. And what I'd like you to do is kind of think about the context of this and about how an ideology might be within this. So let's just have a look at this, and then we're going to compare it to a film just from a completely different context. So remember, this is a Western filmmaker making a film about something that's happening elsewhere. I can go full screen on this. Oh, okay. Okay.
It all starts with real food, over which a gelatinous mass is poured and then cooled. The finished molds that result are filled with wax, and then these wax forms are trimmed, painted, and worked on further. The wax must be kept warm all the while. Other than that, the preparation of a wax sandwich is not at all unlike the preparation of a real one. I stayed there the entire day. The only time I wasn't allowed to film was during the lunch break, which was a shame. All the employees sat amidst their wax creations and ate the food they had brought, which looked exactly like the imitations all around them. You could almost imagine one of them biting into a wax roll by mistake.
Okay, so the idea here is that, and what I'm trying to get at is that the filmmaker is really fascinated by what's happening in front of him, and he's almost like a tourist. Well, he is literally a tourist, really. So he's kind of looking at all this stuff that's happening, and he's kind of outside it. He's fascinated by it. So he's bringing a sort of Western point of view to this and interpreting it. And if you think about it, this sequence from the point of view of the workers, the people who are making this stuff, it's all completely normal for them. Now, what I want to do is just contrast this with this documentary about steel workers in China by a Chinese filmmaker. So this is from a film that translates as Rust by Wang Bing. And let's just have a look at how the sort of way of filmmaking changes and how the filmmaker sort of looks at his subject. So if you compare those two, the first one has, voiceover, and it's clearly somebody looking at something and sort of taking it all in and then interpreting it. Whereas the documentary about the steel workers is very much, kind of, more in that observational mode, if we think about documentaries, but also it's not as exoticized, so it's not kind of looking at like this spectacle of, sort of steel workers and stuff in the same way that vendors is looking at the spectacle of waxwork, right? It's looking at this quite hectic job that these people have to do, and it's just cataloguing it. So it's not fascinated, but it's interested and it's observing. So there's a kind of an ideology at play there. So if you think about whether or not a film is filmed from a Western or Eastern point of view, that's quite useful. Now, what we're going to do in a minute is I'm going to talk you through this attractive looking PowerPoint. But for now, that's the end of the 4th chapter of the introduction to ideology.